part 54 of Don't Say Schwarzenegger. So for this part, I'm going to be going over all of the character letters of support that people wrote in for defendant Shawn Driz to the judge to possibly get his record expunged despite being convicted of multiple GBI felonies, despite violating probation multiple times with no consequences, and despite not paying 1 cent to all of his victims, and he owes millions of dollars. So we're going to go over all of those people. We're going to say their names. We're going to see their faces. We're going to find out what they do for a living. And as a reminder, this is also kind of a continuance from part 43, where I talked about Anabella Driz, who's related to 3 of the defendants. And I read her character letter of support for Shawn. And I want to remind you that her name is on an illegal trust fund that was created after the lawsuits, and millions of dollars, it's documented, I didn't even have to really look far, but millions of dollars went through her illegal trust fund so as to keep all the money from getting to the survivors of her family. That's called fraudulent conveyance, and we'll get to that later. So all of these letters that I'm about to read you, they were all written, including by Anabella Driz, who I covered her letter in part 43 of my series, but they were all written to a judge named Judge Mark Hanasono, and he is the Superior Court Judge in Los Angeles in Department 117. He presides over the felony trial calendar. I'd never heard of him until I got my hands on these documents. So it's interesting, though, that this was like a concerted plan by the defense's friends and family to possibly get Shawn's felony record expunged so that he could continue his luxury vacations to the entire world and not just the countries that don't allow felons. And another thing, feel free to pause this part as many times as you want if you want to go back and watch part 34 of my series, where I talk about the actual character and remorse, compassion, and gratitude that this man has for people, for women in general, for the victims. Just remember who he really is as I read you these disgusting letters. Okay, great, here we go. Okay, first up to bat is a man named Peter M Goldstein. He is the stepfather to Anabella Driz, who I've mentioned quite a bit and not done with her yet in my series. But he is the stepfather to her, so he is by marriage related to the 3 Drizes, the convicted felons in my case. He is married to her mother, Camille Bennett, who is the ex-wife of Alberto Daniel Driz. And it turns out they all still have a really good relationship currently. So Peter Goldstein, family member of all the Drizes, is loaded. Like every picture is just helicopters, and I did a little research on him, and he is the president and CEO of a company called Illumifin. And that company was co-founded by Abri Partners, who have completed $90 billion in leveraged transactions. Loaded. Okay, so here is Peter Goldstein's letter to make sure survivors don't get justice. Here we go. To whom it may concern, my wife and I have known Shawn Tommy Driz since he was just 5 years old. From this young age, Shawn was always a sweet child. As we watched him grow up, he developed a great disposition and was kind, loving, and curious with an upbeat way about him. As he matured through high school, these characteristics have stayed with him. He didn't have the easiest home life as his parents went through a messy divorce, and he wasn't supported in a way that he would have hoped. He had to fend for himself. And even when faced with adversity, he has always maintained a positive outlook and worked hard to overcome the challenges that were put before him. As a young adult, Shawn is responsible. No, he's not. Motivated and hardworking. No, he's not. Part 34, watch it. He's also very compassionate. He can't even spell that. And takes care of his mom and his sister, who both have had their fair share of challenges. He does this with a big heart and a big smile on his face. We are very proud of the man Shawn has become. Really? And know he will continue to do good things as he continues on his life's journey. Best regards, Peter. It's interesting that Peter nor his wife Camille Bennett, who, they're all okaying Anabella's behavior, his behavior, they didn't show up to 1 court date over these last 9 years. Not one. Almost as if they know he's guilty and they don't want to be embarrassed publicly, so they're pulling strings in the background to make sure he doesn't have consequences. It seems like that. Next up is finance bro Daniel Rudyak. I found this profile picture of him over on the Bird app, and weirdly enough, he has Alex Derville in his profile picture. Alex, who was present that night and is on camera in and around the extremely violent attempted unalivings that was happening on camera. Really interesting that they're close friends. Not surprised. Daniel Rudyak is a partner and founder of Beverly Capital. That's an acquisitions healthcare type of company. He is the co-founder of a company called Cortex Composites, and that's a cement supplier in Long Beach, California. And obviously, he's a bestie of Alex Durable. Just another picture of Alex and Daniel I found online. What's up, bro? Yeah, bro. I don't speak bro. I don't know. I had to post this picture. Sorry. Okay, so let's get into Daniel Rudyak's letter to the judge, and it was written around 2022. Disregard what I wrote in the top right corner. Judge Hanasono, I am writing to you today on behalf of my dear friend Shawn Driz. 7 years ago, the events that transpired during an unfortunate altercation have left a lasting impact on his life. It's crucial for you to understand the profound changes he has undergone since that time. Shawn is a person of tremendous loyalty, compassion, and care. Although he was present during the altercation, he did not engage in any physical harm himself. He literally did, Daniel Rudyak. He admitted to it in the deposition. He admitted to it in the civil trial. He admitted to throwing the first physical punch that started everything. We have him on video doing it. I could go on. I vividly recall speaking with Shawn days after the events unfolded, and I wanted to share an anecdotal story about how deeply and profoundly I have seen Shawn's presence at the altercation. Was Daniel there? The individual's injuries and his conviction impact his life. The weight of the conviction has been a constant burden on Shawn. He expresses remorse daily and has been deeply humbled by the experience. No, he hasn't. This felony has significantly handicapped him in his day-to-day life, facing discrimination that restricts his ability to secure employment. How come none of his finance bros are giving him a job? Okay. The remorse he carries for even being associated with the incident has taken a toll on his mental well-being, often leaving him sleepless at night. Over the years, I have witnessed Shawn's unwavering commitment to personal growth. Have you? Instead of allowing the situation to define him, he has risen with humility. He is not. Determination and gratitude. Despite facing numerous obstacles, including family health struggles and financial hardships, like all the victims, Shawn continues to strive for a better life. His resilience, positivity, and constant efforts to support those around him showcase his true character. I believe in Shawn's potential for redemption and his ability to contribute positively to society. I kindly request that you consider his remorse, the significant impact of the felony on his life, and the challenges he faces in securing reasonable employment, because all Shawn wants to do is contribute to society. Shawn has learned from his mistakes. No, he hasn't. Paid the price for his actions. Literally hasn't. The price is in the millions. He hasn't paid a dime. And is eager for a second chance to rebuild his life. Thank you for your time and thoughtful consideration. Sincerely, Daniel Rudyak. Yeah. Gaslighting at its finest. I'm going to continue the rest of the BS letters of support from terrible people for terrible people in the next part. Thanks, everybody.